Hi, Jim Kearns with Project Manager for Carsland. I'm Vice President of Project Management with Walt Disney Imagineering.
Can we start by talking about what role technology has played over the years in allowing you guys to bring attractions like this to life?
Absolutely. I mean, it starts at many levels. There's a lot of technology in the design, and then there's technology in the implementation. When you think the design, this is one of the first projects we really embarked on what we call an integrated project delivery process, trying to leverage the talents of our build vendors and our internal design talent. So we use a lot of pre-visualization using what we call the cave, basically where we'll model in 3D, especially Radiator Springs Racers behind us. We'll model the show in 3D and the attraction, and then we can go into the area we call the cave, and we can actually, in a surround environment, pre-visualize what the show is going to look like in that space, which is really critical for us because line of sight and timing and how things look in a pretty lit, darkened environment. You know, the only way to do that in the past was to build it and see how it looked. But now we have the ability to pre-visualize that, which is really important. We also use the tools for design coordination. Basically, we'll model our mechanical, our electrical, our structural, our architecture in 3D. And the things that used to haunt us, which is, wow, that brace goes through a doorway, or things like that, we're able to tackle those and get them out of the way. So when we get to our build part, we feel comfortable that the design is completely coordinated. The build part, if you look around, this amazing rock work was all modeled in 3D. It starts at a study model in foam, which is then blown up to a half-inch model. We scan it with a white light scanner, and that gives us a skin file, a surface texture file. We then take that and we use that with our rockwork design partner and contracting partner, and he uses that to create what we call chips. Think potato chips. They're surface elements, organic surface elements that resemble the shape of the model. And then our structural engineers come up with a system to grab those chips, tie them back to a main primary structural frame, and then the rebar is bent electronically on a rebar bender. It's lapped in a warehouse. The classical way of doing rockwork at Disney for years was you field build it. Basically, someone has a model, they lay pencil, they lay a rod out on the ground, they bend it in place, and they go, well, close enough. Obviously, being able to use the digital environment, we're able to get very exact tolerances. So from the design moment to the point where we're putting plaster up on the chip, it's all done in 3D. And it addresses all these old coordination issues that used to haunt us. So that's a big deal.
One of the Imagineers earlier had said he believes that some of the technology you guys were using in the cave was actually running off of video game engine technology.
Actually, our internal previous folks had started to tap into that, and as a company, we're starting to move more in that direction. I mean, look at that's an industry out there that's doing amazing visualization. It's gone from, think the early days of the Atari games and things like that to now these games where when you see it on a screen, you believe you're in that world. We as a company intend to pursue that level of integration because if you can start convincing people, the tool that we used in the past was all about physical coordination. But if you can start to use a tool that will visually make it look exactly like it's going to be built, imagine what you can do with that. You can put contractors in it. You can put art directors, and you can walk the world. Think of video game. You're going to have a joystick, and you're going to walk this world that's been built digitally, and you'll be able to comment on things like, oh, now that I see where that light pole goes, I don't really like the light level on the floor. I mean, you can populate as much intelligence as you want into these tools, and that's the real next step for us as an integrated delivery process, stepping it up to the next level of pre-visualization.
Now, I also recently was at the new Fantasyland expansion, and they said they're using tablets out in the field. Yes. Are you guys starting to employ that?
We actually started to employ that. They're obviously evolution-wise a little further. We're finishing. They're still doing their job. So what we're learning as a company, as every job starts to wrap up, the lessons learned are taken to the next project. We did use the tablets out here for doing what we call punch listing. We also used it to carry out our coordinated models. So you could sit there with a contractor, and as they're pointing something out, you could go, well, something's not right here because in the coordinated model that you all built for us, that pipe shouldn't be there. So there's something amiss. And like I said, that's why you move. There's a whole lot of design coordination that happens, in a lot of the virtual coordination and design. But imagine when we have these very sophisticated trade partners, mechanical, electrical subcontractors, and they, in their own model, can now start to coordinate their physical installation. And that way, you can now start to do, 4D. You can start to do layering. It's pretty amazing where the technology is going, and we fully intend to leverage it, to the utmost.